Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here for early training. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about a system that you all need to have, because what I will tell you is if you do a skincare class and you don't follow up with your customers and enroll them in PCP and take care of them, you lose them. And you don't want to lose them. If you're going to take the time to meet with somebody and pamper them, you want to not lose them. So let's first of all talk about, excuse me, what is PCP? Preferred Customer Program is where you have the opportunity to mail a catalog like this to your clients. It comes personalized with a message from you. It has a greeting from you. It gives them your website, your name, your phone number, and there's always a sample inside. This month, this last mailing, it happened to be the new facial scrub. So it always comes in some kind of usually an insert or on the page. But this is something that you can send to your clients. And the one thing I will tell you about the Preferred Customer Program is even if she buys nothing, or if she bought a mascara from you at the party, a lot of consultants say to me, should I enroll her? Absolutely, because if you enrolled her for 4 mailings for the year and all she bought was one eyeshadow, one $8 eyeshadow, you cover your costs for the year for the mailing. Now, if you mail it to somebody and for a whole year they never purchase anything, they're not interested, then that's different. But for the most part, I will say anytime you can be in front of your clients, it's always a good thing, right? So the Preferred Customer Program is key. So the one thing you're going to want to do on your phone, whether you are a techie person or not, you're going to want to do this, because not doing this is going to make your job so much more difficult. So you want to download a couple apps for your Mary Kay business, okay? One that I highly suggest is the interactive catalog, because it allows you to send a lookbook. So these are the 4 apps that I have. I have Skin Analyzer on here too. So I have Skin Analyzer on here. My customers, you will see the showcase, and then you'll see the interactive catalog. So this bottom one, the interactive catalog, is where you can send a lookbook or a catalog that just specializes. We now have just a skincare catalog. We don't have it in print, but we have it digitally. And so the company often will do a specialized digital catalog. So that app is really important. But the one we're going to focus on tonight is this one in the top, your top right, that says My Customers Plus. Do you guys all see that one? It's the one that's right on this top row. It's hard to do this backwards. It's right on that top row. Now, that app and the Mary Kay In Touch website talk to each other. So when you go to a skincare class and you have them either pre-fill out a profile electronically or you enter their information, either one, it'll still sync. Then you can go in and you can put down her order. Why is that important? Why do you want to put, for example, I facialed the gal yesterday and she bought 4 things. She bought a miracle set, she bought foundation primer, she bought an eye cream, and she bought eye makeup remover. So I put all those on her invoice. So now when Fariba goes to order from me again, when I pull up this particular app, that's the My Customers Plus, when you log in, this is what it looks like. And it'll come up, it'll ask you for your password, which you can put in. And then watch what happens. A model's face will show up. Give it a second here. Okay, it's asking me to log in. Sorry. Okay, so you have to log in with your consultant number, obviously. Okay, you put your password in. And then I'll have time for questions at the end. All right, so once you log in, this has been such a saving grace, because my customers, I have spoiled them over the years. They don't remember what they're on. They don't remember the color. They don't remember the formula. They're like, that last lipstick you sold me right before Christmas, I want 2 more. Well, they don't even know what color it is. And that's my job. That's not their job. All right. So you'll get a thing that looks like this. Okay. And down below here, you have some choices. There's a customer choice. There's orders. There's a catalog. So if you click on, let's say you want to add a new customer, you just hit this plus button down here. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Down here on this side, you just hit the plus button. Okay. And it's going to show you all of those. And you can click, well, let's say you were trying to find a customer. So I have a new client who placed an order today. So I go to customers and I go to the search bar at the top. That's just the fastest way for me to do it. And I type in her name. And she's got a very unique first name. So she's only in here once. Okay. Once it pulls her up, then I can click on her information if I'm going to have it shipped directly to her. That's the other reason why this is super important. If you ever want to use CDS, which stands for Customer Delivery Service, you want to have her information in here. So I have her mailing address. So you can take all the stuff right off her profile card, or if she's done an online profile, it'll transfer all that information directly. If she puts in her email, her phone number, her mailing address. And what's interesting is that most of the time, we don't have customers' mailing addresses. We know their name, their email, and their cell number. So when you go to do these, you can't mail these out if you don't know where she lives. So the upcoming catalog that'll be the fall book is going to be really, really great. It'll have some pre-holiday stuff in it. And I believe the sign up is in August. So now is the perfect time for you guys to start texting your clients and saying, hey, I'm going to be sending out a phenomenal catalog in a few weeks. I want to make sure you get it. What's your mailing address? And start collecting their mailing addresses. And while you're in touch with them, I highly suggest you ask them what month and what day their birthday is. Because recognizing a customer the month of her birthday is really key. It ties them to you. It makes them feel special, and they will never want a different consultant other than you. All right. All right. So once we have our customer pulled up, all right, I'm going to go to this little button down here and I'm going to click on it, and it gives me all these choices. All right. And I'm going to click on the shopping bag that's right here. And when I do that, it's going to say, okay, do you want it to come? Now notice what it's asking me. It's saying, do you want it to go CDS or out of your inventory? So if I'm going to hand deliver it, take product out of here and hand deliver it, because I'm going to see her tomorrow, then I'm going to do from my inventory. But if she wasn't local to me and she wanted something and I was going to deliver it, I would click CDS, which stands for Customer Delivery Service. But it's from my inventory. So I click on my inventory, and then it pulls up this. So I have every section from skincare to makeup to whatever. Now, sometimes you don't even know what section it's in. It's like micellar water. Is micellar water skincare? What is that? So I go, because it saves me a ton of time, you guys. I go to the search bar and I just type in the word micellar, M-I-C-E-L-L-A-R. And guess what? It pulls right up. Do you want the full size or do you want the deluxe mini on section 2? It's like, nope, I want the full size. And so there it pulls it up, and I can just click on the quantity and I plus it or minus it. You guys, this is extremely user friendly. Mary Kay set this up so we don't have to be tech savvy. If you had to be tech savvy to be successful in this business, half the sales force would get washed out, seriously. So once you do the order and you say what you want, then you go to close out the order. It also gives you a place to do a discount. So let's say she spends over 50 and I send her the July special deals, which I don't know if you all use Monica's sheet, but I highly, highly suggest using the 50% off specials for the month. They get to select one item for every $50 they spend. And they can take multiples of the same. Like I've had, like one of the gals today, she saw something on there and it was the waterproof eyeliner pencil. And she goes, well, since I spent 100, I want 2 of those. So, but what's really cool about the special deal sheet is it gets them to try product they haven't normally tried. All right. So if you are delivering it out of your inventory, you click my inventory, you put everything in here, you go to the checkout. So when you're all done, see this little shopping bag on the very, very top, right up here, you click on the shopping bag and it's going to tell you everything that's in her order. And you can scroll down to where it says total, and it'll right now it says 0, but on that total, it allows you to add a discount. And I get asked this all the time, what do I do for sales tax? The sales tax, if it's going CDS, it'll automatically calculate the sales tax based on where you're having it shipped to. So if you live in a 9.25 sales tax and you're shipping it to somebody in Sacramento who's at 7.75, I just did this today. My customer Tina lives in Camino, which is really rural, and their sales tax is 7.75. Well, a lot of the Bay Area is 9 and something. So when I have it shipped to her, it charges her whatever her local sales tax is. And when you do a CDS order, it's going to ask you, do you want to pay for the shipping or do you want your customer to pay for the shipping? I usually pay for shipping if the order's over $30. Totally up to you to do whatever you want, but it gives you that option. What else is great is if you click on I don't want my customers paying for her shipping, or I usually always put, I'm always paying for shipping. At the end of the year, when I run my reports, it tells me last year I spent $127 by paying for customer shipping. So it tracks every time I say, because it literally prompts you and says, are you paying for shipping or is customer paying for shipping? And do you want regular shipping or express shipping? And I say regular shipping and I'm paying. So that $5.95 fee, which is what they charge for a CDS order, they keep track of that. So at the end of the year, when I pull up the report, it says you have spent $127 on shipping. I tax right off 100% of that. So again, this app is amazing. It's super user-friendly, way more user-friendly than the computer version, the Mary Kay in Touch version. All right, so you can enter a discount if you want. Any other adjustments, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're delivering it, like I'm delivering this to Fariba tomorrow, it's the sales tax for where I live, because when I bought product, my inventory comes to my house and it's the sales tax. And my sales tax happens to be lower than the rest of the Bay Area. So all my customers get a killer deal because they only pay the 8.4% sales tax that I have versus the 9.25 to 9.75 that's the majority of the Bay Area. So whatever it is. Now, when you get all done, if she's going to, let's say, Venmo you or whatever, you can just create it. So once you get the invoice all done, there's 3 little dots up here in the upper corner. See those 3 little dots? You just click on those and it's going to give you choices. And one of them is send an email receipt. So I click on here, send email receipt. It pulls up and I already have her email already in here because remember, I entered all her information. So then it pulls up her email and it allows me to type in a note that says, hey, Fariba, here's your invoice. I hope you enjoyed the samples I include, blah, 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 whatever. See you tomorrow, hugs Diane or whatever. And I send it. And what's attached to that email is this detailed invoice of her order. Does that make sense? Now, if you are sending it CDS and there's payment involved, it's going to say, do you want to use your customer's credit card or your credit card? Now, my customer, Tina up in Camino, she Venmo'd me. So she Venmo'd me like $181 and change. So when I went to pay for her order, it's saying, are you using the customer's credit card or my credit card? And I said, my credit card. And it came up and it said, okay, well, the consultant cost then is $98.10. So they do add processing fees to that, which is usually about $2 or $1.50. It depends on how much you're processing on a credit card. So I put on there the minimum of whatever I needed to put through on my card. And it went ahead and shipped to her. And then I texted her. I said, here's how much you can Venmo me, because she was waiting for me to tell her the dollar amount. Does that make sense? So what I love, though, is that every one of these orders talks to the Mary Kay in Touch website. And I'll tell you in just a second why that's key. Another thing you can do is when you go very, very back to this part, right? You can also click on orders, because I don't know about you all, but I do enough orders that sometimes I lose track of who's paid me. I mean, that's really a bad thing to admit, but I do. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orders pending. These are all orders that I'm either delivering, processing. So these are all orders that either they haven't paid me or, and most of them paid me by Venmo. I just didn't go in and change it. So like, for example, Victoria Briskin wrote me a check today. So I can go in and now I can go in and mark this as paid. Now, what also is great is that, let's say Victoria calls me and says, hey, and this literally happened to me, whatever lipstick I bought last, I absolutely love it. It happened to be Rosewood. So what I do is I go on customers, I typed in Victoria, I pulled up, I'll just pick on somebody, and I picked on orders. Okay, hold on a second. Let me grab somebody. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really read this very well, but that's okay. I'll just wing it. All right, so I go on here and it's got the customer's name, and then I click on orders and it'll show me all the orders that she has placed with me. So if she says, I want something of the following, so she spent $123 with me back in July, or excuse me, in April. And so I click on the order and it lists every itemized thing that she bought from me. Do y'all see that? So if she says, I want the same thing, or she says, what you gave me before was too rich or too thick or too thin or whatever, and you're thinking, what did I give her before? I don't know about you all, but I have enough customers, I can't remember everything I've given them. So if she says she loved the eye cream, I know it's the repair eye cream because that's the top thing on her invoice. So it's great because it tracks everything that you've sold her. It tracks the color, how many she bought, and when she bought it. And the reason why this is really key is that, and there's things you can set up on here like the retinol. You can have a retinol reminder, which is to remind you to follow up with them in 2 weeks and 2 months, and to let them have a retinol reminder that they're getting low on retinol so many weeks into using the system, if that makes sense. So what I also love about this is, let's talk about weekly accomplishment sheets. This is what your director, you want to score points with your director and make her day, fill out a weekly accomplishment sheet. Now, I do 98% of my customer invoices this way. I still have a few that, due to their age or whatever, they want a paper receipt. I get that. So I literally write it out on the paper receipts that Mary Kay provides us with, and then I will input it into the computer. And I always put like a I just put like MC plus, which means my customers plus, which means I've entered it in there. So the paper invoice is no longer important to me, but I do have a few customers that still want paper. So at the end of the week, you go into Mary Kay in Touch, you click on weekly accomplishment sheets, and guess what? All your orders from this app are all listed above the weekly accomplishment sheet. So let's say a client said to you, oh, I need 3 things, but she's never confirmed the order and has never paid for the order, and you haven't delivered the order. So it might show Susie Q, $110 reorder, but it's still sitting there like pending. If it hasn't finished, like you haven't gotten a hold of her, she's on vacation, it'll stay up there until you go in and modify and add it. But if let's say you've got 4 orders for the week and they've all paid, they're all good. You literally click on the far right side of the weekly accomplishment sheet. You click on the button that says add, and you literally go add, and it'll add all 4 people, all 4 orders. It'll accumulate total for the year. And what's really important, you guys, is make sure you're writing down if you're giving a discount. So if you give her 2 half-price items off the special deals, make sure you mark that. It'll show on there that you've given a discount. And the reason for that is because you don't want to claim the full retail amount if you didn't make that, because you don't want to have to pay, sales, income tax on sales that you didn't generate, that you gave it as a discount. Now, one other quick tip is I have created 2 customers. One is called Tester. That's literally her name, Tester. And anytime I break something open, like I needed a new repair night in my demo, but I sometimes, if I'm low, I might go grab the one that's out of there and fill it up with a new one or whatever. So that is considered a tester. If I break open anything that like the new targeted action toning body lotion, I wanted to break open a new bottle, not only to use on me, but to take to clients, that's a tester. But I also needed a new lipstick, a new red. You can't write that off as a tester because you're not going to use it on your mouth and let someone else try it, right? So I have a customer named Diane, but then I also have another customer named Tester. And anytime it's to your tax advantage to have as much stuff written off as tester and not personal use, me. Personal use is not a deduction. It comes out of your cost of goods sold, but it's not a deduction. So my CC creams, my primers, my eye creams, all of those you could squirt and let someone else try without it. There's no germs involved, if that makes sense. Okay. So the great thing about these apps is the app allows you to do CDS orders. It allows you to keep track of what they buy. It keeps track of, have they paid you? Have they not paid you? But remember, your director for recognition gets no record of what you do on here. None. She doesn't know if you sold $1,000 or $1. So the most important thing is for you to go into the weekly accomplishment sheets every week. For me, I got in the habit of doing it every Sunday night. Every Sunday night, like clockwork, I would grab a piece of the paper back then. We didn't do the app, but it was just a paper form that we would fill out, and the weekly accomplishment sheet, I would just put on a clipboard all my paper receipts. I mean, this is back in the day before the app, right? And I would itemize all the sales, and then I would turn that in at my meeting for recognition. And it was also very helpful because at the end of the year, you can add up those 52 sheets of paper versus going through stacks of hundreds of receipts, trying to figure out how much I sold for the year for your taxes. It's not good. Plus, then if your customers say, well, what did I give? Then I'd alphabetize, seriously, I'm being honest and true confession here. I paid my assistant to alphabetize all my receipts. So if Fariba called and said, I want the same lipstick, I would literally go to her last name and I'd grab all her receipts and I would flip through them until I figured out what her lipstick color was. What a waste of time. Now I pull it up, I go to this, I go to what she's ordered, and it lists everything. I'm like, sweet. So if you have not used the app, the other nice thing about this one app I will say is you can hold the box over your inventory and it'll scan your inventory in here. So it'll tell you when you're low on something, out of something, whatever. So I will tell you guys that this app, it's called My Customers Plus. I'm going to show you real quick before I end what the apps all look like. So these are the 4 apps that I feel are the most important. So you've got the My Customers Plus, you've got Skin Analyzer on here. There's a lot more Mary Kay apps, but there's the showcase, the digital showcase, and the interactive catalog. So my opinion, those are the 4 absolute, and of course there's the MK event one and all that, but these are the ones that to me are the non-negotiable. You absolutely need to have these on your phone. Okay. And so then when you go to enroll customers, you've got all these people Their stuff's already in the system. Their name, their address, their phone number's already in there. So then you get to go and you get to click and figure out who you want to have get a catalog. But you guys, from the bottom of my heart, don't have the dollar so close to your face that you can't see beyond it. So if you're not going to send her a catalog because all she bought at your skincare class was a mascara, and you're thinking, I'm not sending her a catalog. She was kind of a know-it-all at the party. You know what? She could be your next superstar team member or your $1 million hostess. So just saying. So definitely download that app. If you have not been using that app up until now, please make sure you go on and include every single invoice you've created since day one. It's like for the whole year, go back as far as you have to, because it'll really pay off when your customers want product and you aren't sure what to give them. All right, you guys, thanks for jumping on training.